some people like to do other things in the cars. So
Yeah.
there are concerns like that. So I mean, yeah, not
Yeah.
shaming anyone, but
Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Day-to-Day podcast. And as usual, we are
hello.
here. Yeah, as usual, we are here today with some interesting topics. Maybe Chanti, go ahead with maybe what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, today we saw a few topics this week about privacy, so we thought of going down that route. Um,
Mm-hmm.
a few things. One thing we got regarding the Google Chrome browser, and Mozilla has done like a sort of research on different areas and just sort of different industries, I would say, and their privacy. And apparently, your car is less private than you would think. So, yeah, let's get into that. Let's get into that. Why
Yeah,
don't you start, Nilanka?
yeah. Shall we start with the Google topic or with the cars? What do you want? Go ahead.
Let's make it interesting. Let's go with the cars. I think that's what
Okay.
the
Yeah, yeah,
interesting more topic, right?
yeah, yeah,
Anyway,
yeah.
Google tracks you.
Yeah, it's a usual
It's
topic,
nothing
but
new.
cars is something new to be honest. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense now, because
Mm-hmm.
I think we didn't exactly put a thought into cars
Mm-hmm.
recently,
Mm-hmm.
but when the shift from like the traditional cars to more electric cars came, I think this should have been obvious in a sense because
Yeah, sort of,
or
because
like
it became a
hmm,
tech product, right? Rather than
exactly.
a, yeah, it's like it's techy because I mean, a few things happen, right? So even if you look at tech channels like MKBHD and certain
Mm-hmm.
other channels, I mean, even Linus Tech Tips and all of that,
Mm.
Jerry Rig, everything, all of those guys, right? So they have a segment of like cars and specifically electric cars.
Yeah.
Well, not in the case of MKBHD, but he does a lot of things, but it's he talks about the technology and how everything is about the infotainment system, how
Mm.
sort of everything is set up, about the autopilot stuff, and yeah, it's more techy now, right? And it's
Yeah.
connected. You have like on over there updates, right?
Mm.
Um, and yeah, it's tech essentially.
Yeah.
So with
Yeah.
tech, of course, and anything that's connected to the internet, there are privacy concerns, of course.
Mm. Mm. Yeah. So it's that shift, I think we didn't feel it happen over the last 20 years.
Hmm.
Probably cars were collecting quite a lot of data. Maybe once they started introducing more, how do you say, non-mechanical solutions into the product, which is
Hmm.
connected to the internet.
Hmm.
But we didn't feel it until I think this whole sort of electric, at least for me, that was how it was. Until this sort of electric car revolution came in,
Yeah.
I didn't exactly feel that the car is a smart product, to be honest.
Hmm. Hmm.
But
Yeah.
after that step, I believe all the manufacturers started to make the cars more smart products than just mechanical
Hmm.
products.
Yes.
Different services, different products embedded into it. A lot of tracking, a lot of uh, I don't know, travel history. Like even
Hmm.
I didn't even think about it. Your car multimedia system that is there. Now it's mostly either Apple. What is it called? CarPlay. I'm not
Apple
sure what is
CarPlay.
it.
Yeah. Apple
Apple
CarPlay.
CarPlay,
Yeah.
and then Google has a similar product.
Android Auto.
Android Auto, yeah.
Yeah.
So if you have this embedded in your car, that means
Hmm.
it is basically a smartphone or basically a
Yeah.
smart product that
Glorified. Yeah.
yeah, exactly collects data about you, where you are, what you're doing,
Hmm.
what are you listening to. But then let's get in onto this. Like I also have the article open on the side, and
Yeah.
what it says is a new study from the Mozilla Foundation found that all 25 of the car brands it reviewed had glaring privacy concerns, even compared to the makers of sex toys and mental health apps, is what it says. Yeah. Uh,
Yes, I mean that's a bit weird because I mean cars have different ways of tracking you, right?
mm,
If like so let's say for example if you take like one of the like sort of new feature, I wouldn't call it new, but sort of features that are more getting more proliferated across different models, right? Is the sort of
mm,
attention uh how do I say this? Like it checks whether the drive is paying attention, right? And they
Mm,
have like a lot of cameras
mm,
pointing towards your eyes just
yeah.
to see where the driver is looking at
Mm,
and things like that. And some vehicles even go to the extent of giving you an alarm or just buzzing
mm,
off something saying that okay, you need to pay attention. Um, and things like that. So there are cameras inside your car, right?
mm,
That's how it's tracked, or in like the dashboard, or however it's angled, you can see that view. Um, and I mean, you don't even know that it's being recorded sometimes, right? Whether it's where it's stored, how that policy, I mean, what's the policy behind that is. So I
mm,
think
mm,
that's where most of the concern comes in. And I mean, some people like to do other things in the cars, so
yeah.
there are concerns like that. So I mean, yeah, not
Yeah.
shaming anyone, but it's a private place, right? You
Mm,
don't
mm,
expect. I mean, you have
mm,
windows everywhere, people can see around you, but I mean, it's still a private area, right?
mm,
You have an expectation of privacy, especially if you're having a conversation with someone and things like that.
yeah.
But I mean, yeah, it's crazy, right? It's
Yeah. Yeah.
to think. I mean,
Uh,
we
that-
have all these stuff to cover up our cameras on our
yeah.
laptops and things like that,
Mm,
right?
yeah.
Maybe we might have to invent that for
Yeah.
the
Because
cars. I don't know.
no one technically thinks of. I mean, people who are even safe about their laptops, I don't think they think about like
Yeah,
because their internal camera facing inwards. I don't know.
they're like, okay, yeah, okay, cool. Okay, oh wow,
Mm,
it's detecting that I'm not paying attention. Wow, that's so cool.
yeah.
And they're like, oh, okay, how does it do that?
No. And what else is it detecting? You know, that's yeah.
Exactly, right?
But like I was just going through this article on The Verge. I opened the private like the Mozilla article as well. It's a bit more detailed, but on the Verge
Hmm.
article, it's saying like things such as the kind of information collected varies from personal information like medical data. I don't know how they collect medical data to how drivers are using the vehicle itself,
Hmm.
such as how
Hmm.
fast they drive, where they drive, and even the
Hmm.
music they listen to. Both Nissan and Kia are noted to
Oh.
allow the collection of information regarding the user's sex life. It says,
The-
I,
I
uh,
told you.
uh,
I told you.
yeah, how, what? I mean, exactly. I guess you said,
Yeah, cameras. I mean,
yeah.
like, but like, I'm just interested. Like, what do they? Okay, anyway, let's not go in there. We might get banned.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe I don't know. Like, I mean, the devices, most of the devices are connected to each other. Maybe they
Yeah,
share certain
yeah, yeah.
data, as like your
Mm,
smartwatch, your phone,
mm, mm,
yeah, your search history. I don't know. So once it's in a built ecosystem, for an example,
mm-hmm,
if your car or if your a vehicle is using CarPlay or Android
mm-hmm.
Auto, maybe they do share information connected through your Google account, your Apple ID, I don't
Yeah,
know, to the other devices, and then that's another way that they can collect data.
yeah. All
But then also it makes
exactly.
obvious sense that they can track like if you're a visitor doctor, if you go to a certain place, what
Yeah, I mean, you put in the navigation
yeah,
right where you want to go, and
yeah,
it's recorded.
yeah.
So, I think so. I have a feeling like this, right? So it's like this. There's been like a massive debate on privacy on your phones
Mm,
and your laptops and all of that, right? And companies were like, okay, that's too much focus there. Let's divert the focus and let's try to get it off the. I
mm,
don't know. This just trying to put myself in
mm,
the corporate shoes there.
mm,
But I mean that seems like a feasible strategy from the corporate side to see, okay, we can
mm,
get it
mm,
from there. Because I mean, you do so much with your car, right? Not everyone has a car, not everyone uses a car. I mean, car sales are declining, driving people who are driving decline, but still there's like a huge set of people doing it
mm,
and
mm, mm,
driving, right? So and another reason to keep cars and private transport alive, but I don't know, maybe
mm.
the incentive for corporates to collect data of people, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I think now this since these information are coming out, maybe there might be certain regulations coming out quite soon. But
yeah, could be.
it's been a bit of an unregulated industry in terms of
Yes.
data, at least because
Hmm.
it wasn't considered smart quite until quite recent.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I believe the cars, when you say car, okay, it's just something you drive, but it's
Yeah.
so connected now, right? I
Mm,
mean,
mm,
We can get into that, but the BMW thing, the
Mm,
over subscription, like you can disable things and things like that. So it's connected constantly, and like
mm,
one of the main features of 5G when it came out, right, was
mm,
the fact that you can connect your vehicles and sort of vehicles can talk to each other and all of
mm.
that, right? So that implied that the vehicles are going to be smart and they're going to be like part of the Internet of Things.
Yeah,
So yeah, I mean it's now a smart thing and you need to regulate it, I guess. Otherwise,
yeah,
people
yeah,
are gonna be in
yeah.
trouble.
And then it says like in the article, like in the Mozilla article, it says most 84% of them share or sell your data, and
Mhm.
56% actually can share the information with government or law enforcement. I mean,
Oh,
that's
interesting.
that's I guess like that basically comes down to how your regulations are set up in each country.
Hmm. Hmm.
As far as we know, most messaging apps, most like OS providers do this. They provide information back to governments or law enforcement if it's needed. Except certain applications, as far as I
Hmm.
know, like I remember for an example, Signal. It's an app that
Mm.
came out like during WhatsApp sort of privacy conspiracy era.
Yeah.
But it still is one of the apps that do not give information back to law enforcement, and they are kind of finding
Hmm.
ways to sort of keep their use information in. But
Hmm.
I think everyone else has nothing, no obligation like that.
Yeah.
So as far as
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's the thing. So just as I remember, so there has
Mm-hmm.
been like tracking in cars that you rent, if I'm not mistaken. Some companies tend
Mm-hmm.
to
Yeah.
say, okay,
Mm,
you need
yeah.
to have, you have a GPS locator and maybe
Mm,
voice recording and things like
yeah.
that. Um, it going, not maybe a voice recorder, but certain things like that.
Mm,
But I mean, there has been some sort of tracking, but not to the level of
yeah.
um sort of personal intrusive sort of
Yeah.
tracking. So
But that
you would want to know where the car is and all of that, but yeah, that's
mm,
about it, I
yeah.
would say.
Yeah, but that makes sense. I was gonna say like in a
Hmm.
car renting or like this sort of gig economy, like you
Mm.
pick up or something and you leave it somewhere else. And it
Hmm.
makes sense in that way
Hmm.
to see how the person used the car because someone can damage your item or
Exactly.
then you need to be able to have proof that it was
Exactly.
this person and then find it or whatever. But again, like your personal device, it's your personal car needs to be personal. It's you call it a personal car. It's a personal vehicle, but it's not that personal.
Maybe it's not personal transport anymore. So,
Yeah.
okay, guys, another reason to switch to public
Mm,
transport.
mm.
But
And
yeah.
then yeah, I was just going through the article again, and it says all but two of the 25 car brands uh, uh, we reviewed earned our ding for data control. Meaning only
What?
two car brands, Renault and Dacia,
Oh,
which are
Dacia. Yeah. Yeah.
which are owned by the same parent company, say that all drivers have the right to have their personal data deleted.
Okay. So, Dacia, what was the other one?
Renault,
Renault. Okay. Renault. Oh, okay.
Renault and
Renault and
Dacia.
Dacia. Yeah, Renault and
Yeah,
Dacia. So Renault is a French company. Dacia is, I
yeah,
think, Romanian. I'm not sure.
yeah. But they say they are owned
Um,
by the same parent
Same
company. So
conglomerate. So,
yeah.
okay, that's interesting because there is but that's not an ownership per se. It's more of like an alliance because Renault and Nissan have sort of
Mm,
this alliance going on.
mm,
They share
yeah,
technology and things like that.
yeah.
But yeah, that's not
Mm.
really ownership,
But
I
I
guess.
guess that makes sense because they are European car producers, so it's like they follow
Yeah.
the GDPR policies. So
Yeah,
they
but
have
what
to.
about, dude? So is Volkswagen, right?
It's not exactly owned by. Is it still owned by
Yeah,
European? Is it
it's
under
German,
European
right?
ownership?
Yeah, yeah, it's
It,
German.
it
It's
is
a
a
German.
German brand, but like for
Yeah.
an example, Volvo is now owned
Yeah.
by a Chinese
Yeah,
company,
that's
and
true.
things like
But Volkswagen is still owned by it's German held, if I'm not mistaken. It's mainly Germany. So that's
Volkswagen.
there's quite a lot of brands there. So there's Volkswagen, Seat, um, okay,
Mm,
BMW or BMW,
mm,
uh, um, Mercedes. That's Daimler. That's still
yeah.
owned by like I
Mm,
mean Germany has like also Audi is owned by Volkswagen, but yeah.
mm.
I think they are still owned.
Yeah, I was
Hmm.
just checking owners. Yeah, it's still 31% owned by Porsche,
Yeah,
Porsche SE.
yeah.
It's a German
That's a
market.
yeah, there's a loopy thing going on there. Let's not talk about that. But yeah,
Yeah.
like there's a thing where Volkswagen owns Porsche and Porsche owns Volkswagen.
Oh,
It's confusing, right? It's confusing.
okay,
So
okay.
let's not go there.
And then it says the a state of Lower Saxony in a
Yeah,
German state owns 11%. Okay, yeah.
yeah.
Well, that's surprising. A state owning,
I mean,
but that's good.
dude, China that happens a lot, right? But
Well,
China is different. Yeah. Uh,
mm.
uh, but yeah, it was it was state owned considering how it was started. We're not going to talk about that.
Okay.
Volkswagen.
Mm.
You
Yeah.
know that story, right? But
Which one I,
you know how Toyota says how they're proud of their history, how
oh,
Toyota I can't remember his name
yeah.
started it, and Ford is like Henry Ford started it, and
Ah,
Volkswagen is
okay.
like no one started our company. It was a certain mustached gentleman
Uh,
that we're
oh
not
no.
supposed to talk
Yeah,
about, but yeah.
yeah. Everyone has their own history. We shouldn't
Yeah,
bash people
let's
over
not.
there. Yeah. I was just going through this about the Renault and Dacia, and it says it's probably not coincidence though that these cars are only available in Europe. So some of these cars are only available in Europe.
Yeah,
So it's gated in the
exactly, exactly. So,
yeah.
I mean, Mozilla would have done the research in the States mainly, I'm guessing.
Hmm.
Uh,
I think they were just taking car brands, so maybe they
but they'll have to still look at particular
hmm,
models, right? So they would have, I'm assuming,
yeah.
I don't know, I don't know. So I think Mozilla is a US company. I'm assuming that they did the majority of the studies in the US, at least.
Hmm.
But yeah,
Uh,
doesn't say that, I guess.
according to their, I think according to their review, uh, Tesla is probably the worst. Uh,
Oh yeah,
eh.
yeah, no surprises there.
It's like it crosses every privacy issue box in their list,
Yeah,
Tesla.
yeah.
And what is that? It's AI actually. Like yeah, they have AI in included in Tesla. That's the
So,
only thing that the others don't have. Tesla is the
mhm.
only second product we've ever reviewed to receive all of our privacy dings. The first was an AI chatbot we reviewed earlier this year. What set them apart was earning the untrustworthy AI. The
Uh,
brand AI-powered autopilot was reportedly involved in 17 deaths, 736 crashes, and is currently the subject of multiple government investigations.
Yes, I know, right? I mean, so, I mean, let me just, I want to talk about that a little bit. So apparently, what they did was, they took out, so it's very hard for machines to just understand a lot of things
Mm,
just through vision, right?
mm,
So that's what Tesla did. So Tesla only has they used to have like radar
mm,
uh,
mm,
stuff as well
mm,
around to sort of help with the autopilot, but I don't think they do that now. It's just purely cameras and maybe like minor like the radar. At least it's reduced, right? Maybe it's not
mm,
probably totally removed. It's reduced, right? So it's just mainly cameras because cameras are cheap, cameras used everywhere. You can easily acquire them as opposed to radars, which are
mm,
sort of just used in certain
mm.
specific industries and they tend to
Yeah.
be a bit more expensive to acquire.
Mm,
And that which drives up the cost, right? And as a cost measure, I think what Tesla tried to do is reduce that cost by removing the unnecessary technology and try to just go with cameras. But I mean, it works, right, to a certain level,
mm,
but you can't really call it autopilot. It doesn't drive itself. So, like you've seen those tests, like people go on those drives,
mm,
but most of the time it hands you back control when it
mm.
can't figure stuff out.
Yeah.
As opposed to a company like Waymo. right?
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
I was gonna ask you about that.
Uh, is it Waymo? I think it's Waymo. Yeah,
I think,
let me
yeah,
just
they
quickly.
have like
So,
taxis and stuff in US, right?
exactly, right.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, in the
Mm,
US, like totally automated, right? It's.
mm,
I mean, there's no driver, and like like literally no driver. So, but those guys use things like lidar and certain other
mm,
sensors
mm.
because that gives a more accurate picture of the surroundings,
Okay,
and
okay.
it's sort of easier for the car to make a decision, right? Because
Mm,
you understand it in 3D and all of that.
mm,
Because our brains are wired to do that just based on
mm.
vision, right? We know how to understand what an object is, and there's a lot of
Mm.
context behind it that we
Yeah, yeah.
understand that our brain does for us. But
Mm.
you can't really expect an AI to learn all of that
Mm,
context,
mm,
right? So you need to
mm.
program it in other ways so that it understands. So I think that's why uh, that AI it's not failing, but it's not getting where they want it to go. Like they
Mm,
wanted to have like systems where you can just rent out your car when you're not using it, right? So
mm,
that then it goes into this pool of vehicles, and when you have another app, so another person who can say I want to reserve a vehicle from this time to this time, and then maybe that vehicle drives itself to that person, and then that person can use it, and then when it's done, you just get off of it, and it just drives itself back to wherever it needs to
mm.
go, and things like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, there are of course, logistical issues there,
Mm,
charging and all that. But keeping that aside, in order for you to do that, you need to have like proper automation. You need to be able to drive the car yourself, the AI or
mm.
whatever is
Yeah.
needs to be drive the car yourself. But you can't really do that now with the current
Mm.
um, self-driving tech. It's not there yet,
So
I would say.
is this what Waymo is doing? Like what you said, like
Yeah.
they just bring the car so that the other person can drive it by themselves?
No, no, no. That's
No?
fully automated taxi.
Exactly,
That's a
yeah,
fully
yeah.
automated. No, I'm talking about Tesla. So
Mm,
Tesla had
mm,
this
mm,
ambition to say, okay, we are gonna put the put the car into this pool of cars that can be rented out to people and things like
mm,
that, right? So that's not possible right now because of
mm.
bad self-driving, I would say.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say it's not self-driving. It's very high level assisted driving, right? I
Mm,
would say that's probably what it is. Uh, but I mean, true self-driving requires a lot of
mm,
what do you say, computation, a lot of
mm.
uh, sensors to understand what's
Yeah,
going on, and so many things, right?
yeah.
And Tesla, the thing is with vision, there's only so much you can do, right?
Mm,
The
mm,
most of the accidents that happened for that the Teslas took part in were because it couldn't distinguish between like a white part of a
mm,
truck and the white part of a billboard and something. It just thought it was the same thing and it just crashed into
mm,
something like that, right?
mm,
So
mm.
if you had like 3D sensors and things like that just to understand the depth of it, you could have figured that out. But
But like, what makes it possible for Waymo to do it compared to Tesla? Are they limiting themselves to certain geographical areas, or is that
uh
tech more cheaper? Or what makes it possible for them and not possible for Tesla to have the same technology included in
it,
that?
it's a cost, right? It's a cost.
Yeah.
It's
Mm,
a cost. So Tesla doesn't because Waymo is not trying to sell cars, from what I
mm,
understand, right? What they are trying to do is to sell a service,
mm, mm.
right? Um, as opposed to Tesla, they're trying to sell cars. So in
Yeah.
order to sell cars, you need to make the car cheaper, right? To sell. As opposed to those guys, what they are trying to do is replace the driver. So that's you're taking out a
Mm,
cost element there. So you might
yeah.
as well invest and invest that
Mm,
amount on the saving that
mm,
you're gonna get, and you can build it from there. Um, but uh, uh, Tesla is, I think, trying to do a few
mm,
more things, and to bring down the cost, you need to have those sensors, and those
yeah.
sensors cost a lot. You just need
Mm,
to
mm,
remove them,
mm, mm.
go stick with cameras, and knock them
Okay,
down.
okay. So what Waymo is doing is they take the cars and then they fix this extra technology on top of
Exactly,
it and then
exactly,
use it as a taxi
exactly.
service.
So they
Yeah.
they
Oh.
don't build their own cars as far as
Mm,
I know,
mm, 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 mm.
because
Okay.
Tesla did all this battery stuff and all that.
Mm,
I mean, that's good. I mean, that's different. But I don't think realistically they can go to where Waymo is going to.
mm,
But yeah, let's see what happens.
mm. Ah, Yeah. Uh, Back to the article, I think we mentioned about the sort of creepy data collection,
Hmm.
and Nissan is the one that is on that list right now.
The worst.
Nissan earned its second to last spot for collecting some of the creepiest categories of data we've ever seen.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's worth reading
Mm-mm.
in. Yeah, yeah.
If you
But
have
then
Nissan, just
also
be careful.
yeah, six car companies say that they can collect your genetic information or genetic characteristics. Yeah,
Uh, what? What is
yeah.
that supposed to mean?
I don't know. Do they collect like your thumbprints, your sweat, or like whatever you? I don't
No,
know.
I mean, genetic characteristics could be a lot of things, right? You could be like, I mean, certain how certain people behave when driving, or
Yeah.
certain it could be related to ADHD. I don't know. It's just
Mm.
going on a limb here, but I mean, it could be a lot of things. But I don't think they collect DNA. It's
No,
way too
it's not
complicated,
that.
right?
It's not that they collect DNA.
It's genetic.
Maybe they don't. But it says in their privacy policy that they can collect. That's I mean, people have agreed to
Oh my
collect.
God.
Yeah, that's the thing.
We should, okay, so the first thing I'll get an AI to do, right? If it becomes so, just so when a policy comes up, dude,
Yeah,
read this and tell me if it's gonna screw me. That's all. That's
yeah,
all I want.
yeah.
I mean, if you can invent an AI for that, I mean, you
Probably do
technically
that.
can. It's probably
Yeah,
there. You don't need to invent it,
yeah.
but just need to repurpose an AI to do that.
Mm,
You can. I mean, that's gonna be very useful.
mm. Yeah, yeah. You have to be careful with this. I mean, wow. I mean, we don't technically read most of the privacy, unfortunately.
No,
Like when we,
no one reads it, man. I mean, we all about talking about, but we don't read it either, right? So
mm,
just full disclosure. I don't know about me. I don't know about you, Nilanka. I don't read it.
oh yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Um. Yeah, this I think we should link this article on our description for people to go
Mm.
through because it's
Hmm.
very detailed. They have for every brand they have a separate page explaining what they collect, what why
Oh
they
my
do
God.
it. Yeah, uh, and it's quite detailed. So
Mm.
yeah, it's a good article to go through. Tips to protect. So for every car brand, they have tips to protect yourself. Like if you use a BMW car, if you use BMW car data, only give access to your data to trusted third parties. Do not give consent to tailored advertisement. Opt out of selling your personal information. But then you have to kind of make sure that you tick the right boxes when you start using
Yeah.
the apps. Always
Yeah.
do a factory
Uh,
reset on your car before selling it or trading it away.
I'm doing so. I'm just wondering how they're getting the bypassing GDPR
Yeah.
laws. It'll be interesting to figure that out, right? I mean,
Yeah.
they're still collecting data. Is GDPR? No, but GDPR is for all data, right?
Yeah,
It
but
doesn't.
no, GDPR is not against collecting data. GDPR
Oh yeah, you just have
is
to.
the keep it in EU. You
Yeah,
just do,
exactly.
yeah,
Something like that.
and uh,
Yeah.
and technically, unfortunately, they still find ways to work around those things. It's not. It's just that companies are just trying to avoid lawsuits. They're just
Yeah,
you know
that's the incentive, right? They
yeah,
don't care about you. They just want to get screwed in
yeah.
the legal system. That's all they care
Yeah,
about.
yeah, they just want to be safe from the legal system. They just don't care. So it's just a matter to make them safe. They find because all of the software providers have their data centers
Hmm.
in EU now, and
Hmm.
if they don't, they have to bring it in because most companies, big companies, when they work with tech products, they demand it right now, especially in the EU.
Hmm.
So they have to bring it in. Ah, well, it's an interesting topic, and then
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of tech products, as in cars, and then electric cars, electric bikes. Have you seen like this zero motorcycles? I don't know whether you've
Oh
seen
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I've seen that.
some
That's
some
nice.
some of the nicest bikes that I've seen, like
Yeah, those
electric
so
bikes.
cool and
Um,
expensive,
and
but yeah,
expensive,
so
yeah,
cool.
yeah, yeah. So it's just fancy like these things happening. I hope this becoming more popular regulations will come into place,
Mm.
similar to how the other products are also being regulated to a certain extent, at least. At
Yeah.
least EU, if they they care about certain user rights. So
Yeah. It's
yeah.
interesting to see where this goes.
Mm. Then we can get into the next privacy problem.
Guess who it is?
Guess who it is?
It's none other than
Your,
Google.
yeah, your friendly neighborhood cookie crawler.
Friendly name. That's a good one, man. Ah. Yeah, friendly
Yes,
neighborhood peeping Tom. Yeah. Oh.
vaping term. Yes. So Google has, as it has been their mission for the last few
Yeah.
five
It
five
says
yeah
so whenever you get an induction, it says our goal is to collect all the data of
yeah
all
yeah
everyone in the whole wide world. So yeah,
yes yes. Once
disclosure
they
that's not
start,
don't sue
once they
us.
dropped their they had a key like a tagline, right? They dropped it like what was something not evil or I can't remember. They had a tagline. Let me check. Google evil tagline. Uh, don't be evil is Google's former motto.
Wait,
Yeah,
what? No,
yeah,
you're
yeah.
kidding, right? No, that is
Yeah.
I'm sure that is a joke. You're serious? Oh shit, I
Yeah,
didn't know that.
don't be evil is Google's former motto and a phrase used in Google's corporate code of conduct. Uh,
Yeah, I mean they wow. When did they drop that?
be, yeah, between 21st April and 4th May of 2018, Google removed the motto from the preface, leaving a mention in the final line. And remember, don't be evil. And if you see something that you think isn't right, speak up. So they changed it like
Yeah,
around
no, oh
2018.
shit, Madang. No, they would have been like receiving calls left and right. Left
Yeah,
and
so
right.
because they were getting lawsuits because of that. On November
Yeah.
29, 2021, three former Google employees filed a lawsuit alleging that Google's motto, don't be evil, amounts to a contractual obligation that the tech giant violated. That Google
Okay.
broke their own moral code by firing them as retaliation for their efforts against evil in what the
Oh,
trio. Yeah. So then, yeah, probably why they took it out of that.
oh my God, dude.
Yeah, so Google, no, don't be evil is not in its code anymore. So they are being as evil as they want. And now, what we wanted to tell was about that Google has put in an ad tracking platform into Chrome if you are using Chrome. So Chrome has always been their sort of one of their major products, which kind of came into existence. I can't exactly remember. 2003, 2004 was
Mm,
it when it
yeah,
started
probably
coming?
2004 it was launched, but
Yeah,
didn't really hype up until like 2008,
yeah.
2007-ish.
Because back then Firefox was like the king of
No, not really. It was
not it?
Explorer still. It was Explorer, right? Still.
Was it? Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
it was Explorer. And then, then Firefox came in. Firefox was gaining market share.
Yeah.
Um, and then what happened was Google saw that and they thought, okay, we need our own browser. And they just
Hmm.
came in and just exploded.
Yeah, because
So,
Firefox, even though it was really good, they were kind of overdoing things on Firefox. A lot of
mm,
unnecessary extensions. It was
mm,
very
yeah,
heavy, quite
it was bloated.
slow. It was
Yeah,
very, very, very bloated. And then Google, like Chrome, was just this
very
very
clean.
fast, clean
Yeah,
browser. I mean, I myself shifted to Chrome like very quickly after from Firefox. So
yeah,
when that happened,
same here.
and yeah. But then of course they all have their mission to do different things now, and then the privacy whole they build their like so to say user profiles based on what you go into the ad tracking
Mhm.
platforms now being directly baked into Google Chrome makes it's a perfect ad matching for Google's business, and Google is an ad company.
More or
Let's
less.
be
Yeah.
said, yeah. And you have certain options to remove yourself from ad tracking, as far as I know, but they
Hmm.
don't make it easy, of course. Like it's
Yeah.
it's like deep hidden in their settings, and they still track you to a certain extent. It's just that your data will not be used to give you ads. That's all. If
Yeah,
you opt
yeah,
out of
yeah,
it. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. The sale. I mean, so it's like this, right? You'll get ads. So they're
Mm.
like, okay, whatever you're gonna do, we are gonna give you ads, right? So
Mm.
they're like, okay, if you want better ads, give us your data. I
Yeah.
mean, that's essentially
Yeah.
what they're saying,
Yeah.
right?
If you want ads that make sense to you,
Yeah,
things that you
yeah.
want to buy, then you have to allow that. But
So I mean, it's like this, right? So the issue there is,
mm,
um, some people like that, right?
yeah, yeah, some people like.
Some people
I
like that.
remember,
So
I remember talking about this to a few people, like when the
yeah,
whole WhatsApp issue happened, and then trying to get people to shift to Firefox and
Eh,
everything. And people were like, yeah, I
I remember that.
yeah,
You got a lot of
people,
resistance for
yeah,
that.
people are like, I like my ads being related to me. I want
I
ads.
mean, that's your choice, but I mean,
Yeah.
the thing is, what you need to know is, right? So I mean, that's fine, but I mean, when you're making a choice, you need to know all the facts, I would say.
Mm,
Um, it's that it can. So if you're aware, if like say for example, you're giving out your data and you're just being shown ads that you want to see, right? So if it's for like products like electronics and certain things
mm,
like that, it's fine. But you can take it to a malicious level where you can sort of using your data create a profile on you and identify people who are vulnerable to certain things,
mm,
right?
mm.
And target ads for them. So this
Yeah.
has
Mm,
been an accusation for a lot of these gambling sort of games that you
mm.
find,
Yeah,
right?
and then it can also be used for like pharmaceuticals, I believe, quite easily.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, yeah.
Medical
They can
products.
be
Yeah.
used. Yeah, but I mean, of course, the issue with pharmaceuticals is there's a lot of regulation with
Mm,
regard to pharmaceutical advertising, so you don't
mm,
really see that very
mm,
prevalent. But you see it with regards to gaming and things like that. Because what
mm,
happens is when you're served a game, right? You see it and you're like, "Oh, okay, I'm gonna play this game and all of that. What happens is the game is free, but there are a lot of things that you can pay and get certain upgrades and packs and coins and all that stuff. And people tend to spend a lot of money on that, right?
mm,
And I know some game developers just, I mean, they genuinely got freaked out by how much people spend on games because it's like this, right? So generally the distribution is like 80-20, right? So you have 80% of the people who like 100% people play the game, only uh, 20% pay for stuff, but
mm,
that 20% makes up about 80% of the revenue,
mm,
right?
mm,
So what they found was it was even worse, right? So about 10% pay like massive thumping amounts, right? So
mm,
thousands of dollars on these games, right? And all the revenue is coming from a few people, and you have the incentive to keep them going, of course. And it's interest. I mean, other companies are interested to find out who those people are and just serve them their games and just see, how that goes. So there can be there can be companies can advertise to you and get you to get their products, but because if you don't really have a lot of self control things like that, but yeah, it can be
mm.
possible. So just be careful.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, as to our viewers, like the only suggestion that we can give is you have other options to go for if you are more
Hmm.
privacy concerned. When it comes to browsers, of course, Firefox is a pretty good option to go for. You can opt, like, you can put ad blockers if you don't like ads. And I think when it comes to Chrome, they are also trying to regulate ad blocking in their browsers in the future,
Yeah,
how the apps can be used. But on Firefox, you can use, and then also messaging, there are safe options as well. So things like Signal, if you are into that. Yeah, I think we'll put the links of the articles that we discussed in the description of this video, and then if you're listening on an audio channel, Spotify or Google Podcast and Apple Podcast, we'll have it in the link there as well, if you want to go through and read a bit more, if you're interested. But
yeah.
our time has come to an end for
Almost
today,
running out. Yeah,
almost running out. So yeah. thank you very much for listening to us today. Talking about this, we have a lot more in our head actually, but we are
Yeah,
keeping it, concise and short. Our episodes are then taking like 2 hour episodes per day.
yeah. No one's
Yeah.
gonna listen to us.
No,
We
no, no.
ramble on for 2 hours.
Yeah. But yeah. Then thanks a lot for listening to us and watching us if you are watching us. And then we'll catch you next week again. Thank you
Yeah. Have a
and
good
take
one,
care.
guys.
Yeah. See you.
Cheers.